Done.
ठीक है मैम, मैंने स्टार्ट कर दीजिए, आप स्टार्ट कर दीजिए क्लास.
Okay. Okay, very good morning to all of you. I have seen some good morning messages, so that is the all right. Okay, so as you know, I'm Priyanka Bush. This is the English honors class that we are going to have. This is the Indian writing in English paper. So I'm going to introduce you with the course first. All right, I'll be checking onto your query in between the classes. I'll give you time for that. So do not unnecessarily spam the chat box. All right. Okay, all right. I hope it's audible now. Okay, okay. Okay, so I hope the screen is visible to you over here. Can you see? So this is the BA Honours Semester 2nd Indian Writing in English paper course that I'm going to introduce to you. So see, these are the novels that we have. Amitav Ghosh, The Shadowed Lines. Then we have Anita Desai's In Custody. Then we have in poems, Kamla Das, My Grandmother's House. Nizam Azankiel's Enterprise. Robin Negom, A Poem for My Mother. Meena Kandaswamy, A Poem for My a touch drama, and Mahesh Dattani Tara, that is also a play. Then we have short stories, R.K. Narayan, A Horse and Two Goats, Salman Rushdie, The Free Radio, Rohinton Mysteries, Swimming Lessons, and Shashi Deshpande, The Intrusion. Then on Unit 5, what are these pop-ups? Oh, okay, okay. So in Unit 5, we have what? We have different background readings that are important for this paper. All right. So Unit 1 is that of Shadowed Lines. You will have to buy the book for the same. I think this is the same book that you will find. Is it visible? No, it's not visible. Now, is it visible? This is a book that you can find in any bookstore. All right, so buy this book, The Shadow Lines by Amitav Ghosh. All right, with critical essays by A.N. Call. So this is the Oxford edition. You can go for any critical edition for that matter. All right. But today we are going to start with the poetry first. So let me give you just, first of all, let me just give you a brief of what the paper is about. So the very fact of Indian writing in English, what does it entail? The idea is that of you analyzing some Indian writers who are writing in the English language, all right, and then seeing for yourself that what is it that they are talking about, what is the essence of their writing, how you can analyze it in context of the post-colonial theory. For example, that is one of the most important thing that we have to keep in mind, the idea of post-coloniality, the idea of post-colonialism. So there is an academic debate when we talk about post-colonial theory, that is post-colonial with a hyphen and without a hyphen. So are you aware of this theory? Anyone? Are you aware of this theory? Do you have any idea what post-colonialism means? Anyone? Okay, okay, Pallavi, okay, Tushar. Okay. Okay, so the idea of post-colonial, I will just explain it to you. Good morning, everyone. Yes. All right, just wait. I'll tell you. So the idea of post-colonialism, that is with a hyphen and without a hyphen. So post with hyphen and colonialism, or then post-colonialism without a hyphen. That is you're writing it and running. So the idea of post-colonial theory is when you read a text. For example, there is a text which has been given to you. Let's take the instance of the Shadow Lines by Amitav Ghosh. That is in a course, all right? Or we talk about Jane Eyre or any other book that you have already read in your first semester. That is essentially by a white writer, that is essentially by a writer who is a colonizer, the suppressor, all right? And when you read the text in context of, wait a second, there are a lot of pop-ups for lobby and I'm getting very distracted by this. Let me just cancel this. Okay, so the idea of post-colonial theory will entail that how when you read a text, after reading a text, you do a kind of deconstruction reading. What is it? When you read a text, there is a specific pictures that the writer has formed in regard to the people that they are talking about. For example, the very idea of what Indian people are, how Oriental people, you know, work, what are their stances. For example, when the Western philosophers, when the Western writers, when the British writers per se in particular projected us. There was an image of what? There was an image of us being black, us being lethargic, us being lustful, all the negative qualities that they would themselves want to wean away from. Wean away, WEAN, that is, you want to do away with it. You want to disassociate with this particular principle. So the very idea of disassociating with some characteristic features that are not so glorified, and you displace those principles, those characteristic features on the ones that you can do it onto, that is those who are inferior to you, those you have colonized or those you have suppressed. So the idea of reading a text from the perspective of people who have not been given equal representation, from the perspective of people who have not been given equal voice of representation, and who have been projected in a way that they did not have any say into it. That is, there is an image that has been formed, some stereotypical image that has been formed, and you do not know how to analyze it, because you never know as if what is the perspective of the person who has been represented. So the idea of analyzing these texts from this perspective, and in this, the very conjunction of what Rudyard Kipling, a writer, said for all the Orientals, that is, it is a white man's burden. All right, it is a white man's burden. Just because we have a white skin, we have a white pigmentation, it is our burden. The God has bestowed us with this duty of pacifying these savage races. That is, it is our responsibility to put these people in places. We have to get them out of darkness and into enlightenment, into light. All right, so the very idea of their assuming the role of the fountain of largesse, or of a benevolent reader, or a benevolent provider, in contrast to, and not in just contrast, but in stark and acute contrast to the ones who are colonized, that is the natives. All right. So this perspective, when you employ, when you try to find out that what is it that the other people want to say. For example, in 1857, when we talk about the Sepoy Mutiny, when we talk about our first freedom struggle, there is, when you read those books, there is just the perspective of the British officers, the perspective of the British soldiers when it comes to the war. All right, they tell about their perils, they tell about their struggles, but there is no say as to those who are protesting against the authority. So when you look for those perspectives, for example, if a text has been given to you, and everywhere the writer is talking about, and one of the greatest example that you are also going to read in one of your courses further on, The Heart of Darkness, whenever you read that book, it's an amazing book, that is by Joseph Conrad. You will find that how the Britishers, the Western writers in general, and Britishers in particular, projected the idea of natives and Africans and brown and yellow people according to their own personal stereotypes and prejudices. There was not an essential voice that was given to other people. So, although on one perspective it seemed like they were writing or representing our cause, it was not as if they were doing it in the correct manner. All right, are you able to understand? This is about the post-colonial theory, when we will try to find out the identity crisis that people have. All right, the identity crisis of where do I belong. For example, in our culture also, is it, there are many poignant questions that one asks onto himself or herself. That is it that I truly belong? What culture do I truly belong to? Which culture do I truly associate with? Is it that the Indian local culture, I have to reject this local culture in order to go global? Or is it that I can form a perfect conglomeration of the same? So post-colonial theory is about celebrating our own culture, celebrating our hybridity, celebrating our diversity, and in a way reflecting it in the text that we have read so far, finding those absent voices, finding those loopholes, finding those stopgap arrangements which have been there, finding for those voices which had not been represented, finding those and writing about it and analyzing the same. I hope that's clear to you. Are you able to form some idea? You will be able to understand it when we actually start the novel. No, no, I've just shared the syllabus. Okay, those who are not able to see, they should rejoin. And Okay, see, some are saying the voice is completely clear, so you will have to check your own connections. Okay, Gursimar Kaur has answered. Okay, good Kunika, that you are able to understand. Okay. Yes, the idea of time after colonization process. Okay, Gunjan, yes. Okay, so the idea is that of how, see, Gunjan, you have said that the idea is that of days before the colonization process. That will come under the category of post-colonialism without a hyphen, and with a hyphen will transmit or translate into times that essentially starts after the colonization process has ended. All right, just one second. It's such a disturbance to see these pop-ups of people waiting in the lobby. I'll tell you the book names. Wait. Okay, Sadia, you are asking. Yes, Shruti, I don't know how to just mute these. I know the notification sounds, it is problematic. It is becoming very problematic for me also. I can hear the pop-ups, you know, while speaking as well. Wait if I can find something. Okay, let's see what can be done. Okay, Dhruv, if I can do that, let me check. Yeah, I can choose not to see it, but I want maximum participation that way. Um, No, actually, I muted the notification for the messages and it's done, but there are a lot of pop-ups about people waiting in the lobby. That is very disturbing, I'm saying. Okay. Chalo, nevertheless. Okay, so now, Sadia, you were asking me, is it about understanding the national perspective? Yes, it is about, Sadia, more importantly, it is about when you talk about post-colonial theory, it is not just about running away from all that has been colonial in our time, so running away from everything which is western, which is foreign in a way, but finding a fine balance between the local and the global. That is, you mean to say that if I adopt and adapt to all my local traditions, to all my traditional values, to all that my culture stands for, that my country stands for, that does not essentially mean that I'm a backward person, that I'm not fit enough to go global, or I'm not fit enough in the global world of how a person should be. So the idea is that of how there should be a fine balance between these two. Not the idea of weaning away from the local in order to become global or just becoming global, but idea of finding a fine balance, that is celebrating the hybridity, syncreticity and polyvalency that our culture stands for, and looking for these nationalist, nationalistic, and you have to understand the meaning of nationalist when I say it, nationalist local cultural views that make us unique and accepting it to the core. Okay, understood? I'm on the bottom. Okay, Sridev has just, wait, you are saying I'm on the bottom left of the taskbar. You can right click on the sound icon, go to the voice mixer, then turn down the voice settings. Okay, it worked. Yes, now I cannot hear. Now I can just see it. But yes, it worked. Now I am not disturbed by the sounds at least. Okay, Sridev, I think that worked. Thank you. Now the voice is not coming, but is my voice audible? I hope that. Yes, Shruti, you can mute your notifications as well. I'll tell you, I write the name of the book. The name of the book is The Shadow Lines by Amitav Ghosh. Okay, I think Dipanshu has shared some kind of link, some kind of picture that you can refer to. Okay, Sheikh, you can go for any other edition, that does not matter. Okay, good, Himanshu. Okay, Khushi. Okay, all right. So I hope it's clear to you. Then let's begin. One second. For those who are getting disturbed by other people's messages, they can simply mute. I think there is a student who has also shared the methodology for the same. So kindly refer to that. And also, I would request all of you to not spam the chat box. I hope you are able to concentrate over here. It is very important that you, at least for these 2 hours, you study well. At least for the class timings, you study well. It is very, very important. And it is going to be of momentous use to you in the examination as well, right? So you have to be there. Other than that, I want maximum participation in the class. I hope if there's anything that you do not understand, if there's anything that you want to relevantly add to the conversation when I ask questions, I want your participation as well. Only then the class becomes meaningful, when I know that you are able to understand. Clear? Just write. Okay. Okay. All right. Now let us begin with the poem that we are going to deal with. So you can buy this book as well. Is there any study material that you have been provided? They can find online, because it's a new course. I think the study material is not available as yet. Okay, let's do one more thing. Kushi, you have the study material. So what kind of study material? Also, I want one of you to, create a Telegram group, and I'll share the link for the same with everyone over here, and then everyone can join the group and the material can be shared. Okay, so those who have the study material, kindly share it on the group so that we can distribute it among everyone. Okay, many are saying that they have the study material. All right. So, are you able to understand? I hope the gist of the paper is clear to you. That is, what is it that we are aiming at? What is it that we wish to do? Yes, Kushi, that will work. Penguin edition will also work. No, no, we don't have a Telegram group yet. I want one of you to create the group. Study material is available on the whole website. It can be easily downloaded. Okay, I'm sharing the group link. Just join the group. Dipanshu Dhiman has shared the group with us. Okay, you have already created the group. This group is there, alright. Then you all join it. Wait a second, I'll post the group link. Okay, I'll be also joining the group and then you can share the material. Yes, you have to make notes for everything, alright? Then only it is going to be of use to you. When you find something important, when you find something of use, to write it so that you can quickly revise it during the examination. So I hope the concept is clear to you. What is it that we are going to do? We are going to have a deconstructive reading stance. That is, we are going to analyze this text and try to find the voices which have gone unrepresented and try to fill in these with equal and appropriate representation. That is, those who have not been given the power of representation, there might be n number of reasons for the same. Maybe they belong to a specific community, maybe they belong to the to the victims party, that is, they are being suppressed by the victimizer. So all these we have to consider and see. For example, they might have not been given a voice due to their gender, that is, there has been a gender discrimination with them, or an idea of political, social, cultural, economic discrimination that they have found that has been perpetrated against them. So we have to find these stances and then talk about it. All right. So this is the approach that we are taking. I've copied the link of the group as well. Okay. Khushi, have you shared a... No, Khushi, just share the group link that I've shared. Just spread it so that people who wish to join, who are in the class, can join. All right. Who is this? All right. So Oxford edition is okay, Isha. You can also go for another one if you do not have. Okay, so one second, I'll just join also. Let me just join the group as well. And then what you can do, those who have the study material can share it so that I can reshare it with those who join in late. Just wait a second, I'll also join the group. I've just shared the request. See, Sarthak, you are asking me that if study material is all right. Okay, so see the study. Okay, who is this? Yes, you have shared the link again, I think. Okay, so the idea is that of you're asking me that what is it or whether the study material is enough or not. See, study material is just a supplementary material. That is, when you read the master text, you should be able to supplement it. That is, after reading the master text, if there's something that you do not understand and you want to add to your knowledge, you refer to the study material. Other than that, you should always and every time read the master text. You have to see. Nobody will ask you from where did you do your honors degree, where did you do your English honors from, regular, so all right, towards the end of the day the degree is going to say BA honors in English. That you have to justify on your part. All right, so when somebody talks to you about a novel and you have not read it, it is going to be a very sorry state of being. So do not do that. Always and always try to read the master text. Even if you do not have enough time during or before the examination, you can go after it, once the examinations are over. So it is very important for you to read the master text. Only then will you be truly adapted and educated in the text. All right, anybody can read a summary, anybody can read a study material, but only the students of literature will be able to decipher and read the full novel. So you should always read that. Do not just study for examination. See, you're going to pass any which way, but the important part is how much value addition you have done, how much you have actually gained in sense of knowledge. So do target that. All right, whenever you study, do target that. Whenever you read a book, whenever you study a novel, whenever you study a literary, non-literary, whatever text, you have to, what is it, a different, okay, now it's gone. Okay, so the idea is that of how whenever you read, you have to target that what if I have to teach this novel to someone else? Anyone would be able to tell the basic story, but you as a literature student should be able to read up the main part, decipher the meaning. So that is the approach that we are going to employ here. We are going to do two forms of reading, two levels of reading. First, we will go for denotative reading. That is the basic reading of identifying the various characters that we have, all right, various settings that we have, various circumstances that we are talking about. What is it that the writer is pointing towards? The basic storyline, basic place, everything basic is going to be identified by us. All right, and that can be done by everyone. So here also comes also one of the key concepts here is for you to understand what is the difference between a plot and the theme. Can you identify the difference for me? Those who know the answer can write it down. I'll read it out. So the question is, do you know the difference between plot and theme? Now, when in denotative reading, we are going to identify the plot. All right, now comes the part where you do a connotative reading. That is, you have already identified the basic storyline, you have already identified the basic characters that we have. Now you have to go for the meaning, the deep meaning that the text holds for you. That is, what is it that the text is talking about? What does the images stand for? What is it that the writer is pointing towards? What are the major themes that we can identify? So what is the difference? Now I'm asking you, this is a question to every one of you. What is the difference between a plot and theme? Do constructively use your brain. I'm looking for the answers. I have sent the request for the Telegram group. Let's see. Okay. So one of you share the study material on the group. Okay. So all the text kindly share. All the text that you have regarding the paper kindly share on the group so that. Okay. Okay, I can see Shadowline's text as well. So all those of you who have the text, kindly share it on the group. Let me see how many answers do we have. The difference between plot and theme. Wait, I'm trying to scroll down. I wait. Okay, Pallavi is writing theme is the idea for novel is about. All right. Gunjan, you're writing plot is the base of the story or the novel. Okay. Sridev, you are. Gavin, you are saying plot is the story of the novel and theme is an ideal concept that the story is based on. Good. Tanisha, you are saying plot is the storyline, theme is the main idea. Good. The differentiation between storyline and idea. Good. Plot is the gist of novel, Pallavi. Okay, let's see. Gursimar Kaur, you are saying theme is more of the main thought. Kushi, you are saying theme is the broad concept in comparison to plot. Arpit, plot means storyline, right? Dipanshu, okay, yes, you have accepted. Yeah, I saw it. Kushi, you are saying theme includes genre and plot means the story base of the text. Okay, Mansi is there. Kanika, Roshni, you have also written the same thing. Plot is how the whole story is going to happen, and theme is which topic, which are sorts of story carried throughout the reading. Good. Very good, Avshika Dagar, you have also written right. Sandhya, right. Monica, I'm reading. Sarabjit, yes. Good. Neetu, Gunjan, Sakshi, I think. Arpit. Yes, see, Dipanshu is saying everyone is requested to write their full names on the Telegram profile to join the group. Okay, do that. Okay, Vanchika, very good. You're writing a plot is a sequence in which events take place, whereas theme is a central idea which the storyline is trying to uh, convey. Akriti, right. Anshu, right. Sakshi, Kushi, Kirti. Okay, there have been many answers, and that is very good. Upasna, Umidhani, Simran, Saroj, Sabir, Darshita, Monica, Mehak. Very good. Mohit, Sarthak. All right, very, very good. So the idea is that of how a plot is the basic storyline, while theme you have to identify for yourself. For example, if I say that write the plot of the novel Shadowlines, every one of you will write about the main character Thamma, you will write about Trideep. None of you can change the characters. All right, you cannot say if there are two sisters at the story or the novel talks about, you cannot say that, no, I'm going to talk about four sisters. No, you cannot change the storyline. That you will have to follow to the very teeth. All right. But the idea of theme, for example, if I say what are the major themes, then the idea of theme will be different for each one of you. For example, there might be an intersection. Obviously, there is going to be an intersection whereby you will also talk about the same theme. The other person will also talk about the same theme. But what will be the essential difference is that the primary focus, for example, for you it might be that the primary focus of the novel has been the Marxist perspective, for other person it has been the feminist perspective, for other person it is the economic struggles that we have. So the idea of primary secondary themes being differing for different person according to their own perspective and circumstances. Clear? Yes, Darshika, Soumya, Sheetar, yes, this is what we have been talking about. Okay, good. Clear? Okay, just wait, just wait. Yeah. Clear? Is it clear? Are you able to understand? This is the basic difference. This is the approach that we are going to adopt. All right. That is, we are going to do a denotative and connotative reading. This is what I expect of you. For example, when I read the poem to you right now that we are going to start, first of all, we will identify that what is it that the writer is talking about? What is it that the poet is talking about? Then we will talk about the idea of that why the poet has used this specific imagery and what can be the possible reason for the same and possible meaning of the same. Good, Riddhi, Darshika, Tulsi, Saroj, Kirti, that you've understood. Alright, so the idea you understand? Achal, you just join the group. There are other, other people who will let you in the group. Okay, so they will ask you, they will let you in. Okay, let me check which version of the novel that you have. Over here, I can see there are study material, chat lines, okay, in custody. Okay, let me see which PDF do you have. Okay. Okay, do not send in any other group links. Join the group that I have shared the link for because that is what I've joined. So do not worry about it. Do not join any other group as such. Just one group that I have already shared the link for. Only that you have to. Okay, now let me just switch the screen. Now I'll put up Kamla Das's poetry. Okay. So just look at the syllabus that I'm referring to. This is what we are going to start with, Kamla Das, the grandmother's house. Meanwhile, when we are doing some of these poetries, I want you to read some of the chapters of the Shadow Lines by Amitav Ghosh. It is very, very interesting novel. You already have the PDF for the same. It's one of my favorites. All right. When I did my graduation, I just loved this book, and this is going to be a life-changing experience for you as well. All right, you will learn a lot from it. Amitav Ghosh is an excellent writer, and this book is really one of the best. All right, so read it. While we are discussing the poetry part, I want you to read some of the chapters and at least half of the novel. All right, in the process of it. See, do not join any other group. That is not compulsory for you. The group that I have shared the link for, do join that. That was given to me by Dipanshu Dhiman. All right, so just follow that group. I'm sharing the link again. This is the only official group that you have to join. I have just provided the link again. All right, no other group is the official one. Darshika, you can just join this Telegram group. Everyone has shared all the books All right. Okay, there is one Pallavi Kumari Dipanshu. She's saying that you kindly accept her request to join. Okay, just wait. I'll just sure switch the screen now. Wait. I hope this is done. Now you know what we are doing. Kamla Das, my grandmother's house. This is what we are going to do. So wait for me to switch the screen now. Now I hope the screen is visible to you. Just wait. I hope the screen is visible to all of you. For those who cannot see the screen, if there's any glitch from your side, what you can do, you can simply Google search the poem My Grandmother's House by Kamla Das. Okay, just wait. Okay, Sridev has also shared this link for the same. You can also refer to that. Okay, it's visible. Let's begin. You know, regularly there are these pop-ups for the lobby. This is so disturbing, but anyway, let's not waste any time on them. So yes, there is a house new far away. Okay, so what I want you to do is that when I read the poetry, all right, you also read it with me. I want you to focus on whether you are able to understand the narratorial voice. What is it that the poet is trying to say? What is it that she's talking about? Who is it that she's talking about? So the idea of deciphering and analyzing that what is it that the writer is talking about, who is it that the writer is talking about, if there is anyone else that the writer is addressing, or if there is something that the writer is talking about or addressing which is non-living. All right, this is what I have want you to do. These are the things that you have to do. Wait a minute, who is this? Okay, let's begin. There is a house now far away where once I received love, that woman died. The house withdrew into silence. Snakes moved among books. I was then too young to read, and my blood turned cold like the moon. How often I think of going there, to peer through blind eyes of windows, or just listen to the frozen air, or in wild despair pick an armful of darkness to bring it here to lie behind my bedroom door like a brooding dog. You cannot believe, darling, can you, that I lived in such a house and was proud and loved? I, who have lost my way and beg now at strangers' door to receive love, at least in small change. What do you think is the writer talking about? Can you just identify the tone for me? What kind of tone is it? For example, when you talk about tones, then you talk about the idea of being sad, being nostalgic, being happy, being exciting, being encouraging, motivating tone. So, what kind of tone is there that you can identify? Even if you cannot identify the very storyline, can you just identify the tone for me? Very good. Canvin is saying, okay. Okay, Kevin, Sarthak, Sandhya, Snehalata, yes, Gursimar. Okay, you all are saying that it is nostalgic tone. Yes, that's good. Gursimar, you are saying emotional. That is also good. Pabdi, you are saying, okay, the void caused by the death of a loved one. Very good. Yes, that is also there. The tone is sad, sad tone. Kushi, you are also saying this. Very good, Kushi. Kushi is saying Kamala Das telling her grief about losing her loved grandmother. She's in sorrow. She's talking about her whole journey, like what all she has faced as yet. Ritika, you have also said melancholic. Okay, good. Reminiscing, Isha, very good. The idea of reminiscing means when you're remembering something. Sad and nostalgic, Ria, you are saying, okay, okay, okay. Okay, very many answers. Very good. That's good. It's more bittersweet, Kevin, you are saying. Okay. Zubeda, you're also right. Everyone is right. Tulsi, Tanushi, very good. The idea of grief, the idea of nostalgia. So obviously the tone is that of nostalgia and grief and sadness. Why? Because nostalgia is when you have, for example, when you talk about the idea of when I used to go to my grandmother's house, this used to happen. When we were in class, in the specific class, in the school, this used to happen. So you are being nostalgic. That is, you're remembering something that you have already lived. And you are remembering it because you have not been able to live that experience in the recent past. So the idea of nostalgia, because she's saying that she missed being at her grandmother's house, and the grief, the sad tone is that of how she's very sad because of the fact that she could not and will never meet her grandmother again. Alright, she could not meet her grandmother so frequently due to her busy life, and now she will never be able to meet her again because she is dead. Alright, so there is a tone of grief, the essence and stance of being grief, full of grief as well. Yes, Diksha, right. Kushi was saying she loved her grandmother so much that she even wanted to collect darkness from their right. That is to accept the one that you have lost in all his or her totality. You accept the dark parts, the bright parts, you accept everything. Alright, so the writer is essentially, Kamala Das is essentially talking about the idea of how she has lost her grandmother, and that loss is a great loss for her because it has created a void that cannot be filled by any kind of love that she will receive from anyone. And also, one poignant point over here, if you have read My Story by Kamala Das, one of the biographical novels and sketches that she writes, she also talks about the idea of how she never got enough love from her parents. They used to be in constant conflict, and her mother was in direct conflict with her father, and they had and used to have a lot of fights amongst themselves. So it created a kind of emotional void in Kamala Das as well. And what happened subsequently, this also affected her relationship with her husband, because Kamala Das has repeatedly talked about the fact of how she has been in a loveless marriage, that she does not love her husband, and it has been very problematic for her. All right. So these are the factors that you need to also consider. The idea of Kamala Das being not so in being in a happy relationship, and only when you are in the presence of a relationship which is loveless are you reminded of something that has been there in the past. That is the idea of things that have been great in the past. So the very ideals and the stance of her being in a loveless marriage, of not sharing a great rapport with her husband, is making her remember, or is making the loss of her grandmother more profound. Because in those memories, when she used to go to her grandmother, there was true and pure love, unadulterated love, as we call it. That is, there was no one who would want to what? Who would who would want to, or who would say that this is something of a pretense. No, there was true love, there was pure love, it was unadulterated, and in stark contrast to that, she has grown up, she was a child, and now she's a mature woman, she's married, and she's in a loveless marriage, and only the lack of bonding that she experiences with her husband makes her realize that, okay, this is how bad it is. All right? Understood? Yes. Yes, my mother is 66, Tina, and I think Shruti is also. Yes, my mother is 66. That is the. Okay, understood? Okay, good. Now just let us read his. Why, wait, what is it? Who is that? Okay, let us read it by word. Is this the shared screen? Okay. So there is a house not far away where once I received. There is a house not far away where once I received love. That woman died. The house withdrew into silence. Snakes moved among the books. So the very idea of the house withdrawing into silence. Alright, so the very soul of the house was the grandmother who once dead. Now the woman is dead. The grandmother is dead. Her granny is dead. The house seems to have descended into silence as if she was the only live thing in the house. It was true, obviously, when we do not take the metaphorical meaning of the place coming alive, but the idea is that of how the place was lively, the place was a home when the grandmother was there, but now it is all deserted. And it is as if the house, along with Kamla Das, that is the granddaughter, is also mourning the loss of the owner. That is, the house has also descended and receded into silence because there is nothing that they can do. They are so mournful about the fact, they are so sorrowful about the fact that the owner has died, the grandmother has died, that now they have nothing better to do than to keep quiet and recede into silence and darkness. All right. And then she says, there is a house now far away. Because why? Now, is it that the house location has changed? No, the house location has not changed, but she's saying the house that I used to call home because my grandmother was there is now completely far away and out of reach. Why? Because now that the grandmother has died or is dead, now it is no way home. All right, there is no way that she can reach over there and talk to her and reach out to her and find again the ideals and the instances of pure and true love. So therefore it is the end of an era for her. It is as if the house is now far away because the owner of the house who made it a home is no longer there. Therefore the idea of house stands null and void. Clear? No, no, actually I have muted the chat, the pop-ups I have muted. So I do not get the text on the screen now. Only when I open the chat am I able to see it. But the people waiting in the lobby are still visible. So yeah, don't worry. Okay, what to do then? Okay, do not disturb others. Kindly do not spam. Okay, let's study for some time. This is the only time, this class is the only time where you can focus on the studies. Alright, where you can just listen to what I'm saying, alright, so that you can gain something out of it. Okay, we are in the learning process. I'm learning from you, are learning from me. So it is better for just these 1.5 and 2 hours that you just focus on what you're doing. Other than that, you can be whatever you wish to be and do whatever you wish to do. Okay, Kushi, that is the last sentence. Okay, we are coming to that. We are coming to that. Wait, let's start it. Among books I was then too young to read, and my blood turned cold like the moon. How often I think of going there to peer through the blind windows or just listen to the frozen air. Now she's saying that now she realizes, because now in retrospection she realizes what she realizes, the fact that it was once when she was a little child, once when she was a young girl, she did not understand the idea of why she has to read these books that her grandmother used to ask her to. Alright, and she could not and did not want to wait. I'll just view this one. And uh, I'm seeing if I can. Okay, I don't think so. All those who are joining from the guest ID, I don't think you will be permitted to enter. I think there is a specific ID that you have to log in from. So do keep that in mind when you're logging in. Do not log in. Okay, then she talks about the idea of how, as a young girl, she did not understand the idea of. I don't think as guest you would be able to enter. So do make it right if it is possible. So the idea is that what the writer is saying, that now that she has grown up, now that she has become an adult, she understands that how as a child she used to get frustrated by the fact that her grandmother is asking her to read novels and books which she thought were not important at that particular point of time, but so slowly and gradually with time now she realizes the importance of these books. But now there's a ghostly scene that she explains, that is, the house has become so deserted, the house has become so secluded that now even the books are infested by a lot of snakes which are around the books. All right. Okay. Then just listen to or in the wild despair pick an armful of darkness to bring it here to lie behind my bedroom door like a brooding dog. You cannot believe, darling, can you, that I lived in such a house and was proud and loved. So now she's directly addressing who? She's directly addressing her husband and saying, can you believe that I lived in a house whereby I was so much loved, where I was so much cared for, and I was respected? And it is difficult for you to understand the same because right now we are in a relationship whereby we are not happy with each other, we do not mutually respect each other, and we are contemplating separation. But is it possible for you to remember that there was a time when I was a young girl and I was loved by these women so dearly and deeply that I was extremely ecstatic about the experience? So now she's saying that now that the circumstances have been this way, it is very difficult to imagine a time whereby she was, you know, she was a certain kind. She was this person who was loved and who was satisfied in her own life. So, this is what she's essentially talking about. Clear? Are you able to understand? Yes, log in with your soul ID. How can I stop the reactions? People are saying that they are being disturbed. Is there a way that I can? Is it possible for me to stop the reactions? If it is possible, then tell me how. Okay, it's clear? Okay, good. Okay, wait. I cannot find the option whereby I can. Okay, okay, there are reactions here. No. Uh, there is no option to turn off the reactions as such. Okay, wait, I'll see if I can do it, or in the next class I'll ask the presenters. Okay, in the next class I'll ask the presenter to mute the reaction part, okay? Don't worry. So, is it clear? Okay, so then in wild despair, pick an armful of darkness to bring it here to lie behind my door like a brooding dog. Now she's also what you can you identify the tone? The tone is that of what? of regret as well. That is, she's saying that now that I've lost her, now that I've lost the light of her forever now, can I just go back in time? Or if can just go back in time and be better with her, or experience that unadulterated love that I've missed in my adult life so far. Can I do that? And when she realizes that she cannot do that, she thinks and she says that maybe if I cannot do that, if I cannot go back in time and undo what I have done, can I at least be at the place whereby she has departed from, and take away some fistful of darkness from here? Can that be enough for me? Can I be good enough for that? Can that make me survive? And the answer is yes. Then at least let me take the last vestiges of my grandmother and be happy about it. This is what she's talking about. I hope that's clear to you. Okay, there are many people asking for how to make notes. So when you are taking notes, you have to make sure that they are in abbreviations. Okay, Akansha has also written a text for helping you to get down with the chat section. So do that. Okay. Okay, so you're asking me. So when you're making notes, for example, you cannot take down each and everything which is said in the class. It is very important for you to take down the notes. For example, if there is a tone that we are talking about, just write it in abbreviation, not in full sentences. That is also not important and also not possible due to the lack of what? Time. Okay, so do that. Just take quick notes, write important points, write generic terms. Okay, actually you're asking what is a brooding dog. Okay, Diksha, you're also. Okay, the idea of brooding dog is, for example, when you say I'm mulling and brooding, do you understand? When you sit and regret something, that you regret, oh, why I didn't do this, why is it that things happen in a certain way? When you're brooding and mulling over things, when you're regretful, when you're repenting. So she's saying, like, can I take this darkness away with me at my home and sit outside my door like a brooding dog? A dog who is thinking about, but the metaphor is that of how she is very disturbed by the fact that she was not there for her grandmother in the last moments, and specifically she's afraid and you know afraid and frightened of one thing that she has to commit to herself, that is one thing that she has to say truthfully to herself, that is there has been no relation after her grandmother that could really give her the kind of true love and togetherness and bonding that her grandmother used to have. All right. So that also becomes a great loss, because till now, even if she was not visiting her grandmother, there was always an option to visit her back. All right, she could have gone to her and be with her, talk to her, and relate on the same principles, but now that option is also lagging. All right, then she says, can you that lived in such a house and was proud and loved, I who have lost my way and beg now at strangers' doors and love at least, receive love at least in small change. So she's saying that, you know, now can you believe that I was once this person who was so loved and loved and cared for and respected by my grandmother. I was so loved by many people that you might find it difficult to imagine me as being a person of center, being a person who was a center of attraction. But that is the truth of my life. I was truthfully the center of attraction. But now what have I been refused to be given? That is, I've been refused respect, I have been refused love, and now I have been reduced to going around the doors of people and begging them. That is, she's begging people for some kind of love. And when she says that, at least in a hope of receiving that love in some kind of change, that is, if somebody can throw some coins at me, all right, that even if you're not giving me a 10 rupee or some 100 rupee note, at least give me some change. That is, if you are not able to give me full-fledged love, complete devoted love, at least give me some of it. So the idea of how sorrowful she is, how lonely she feels, that she has to go to strangers and beg for that kind of affection that is missing from her life, which is not given to her by her parents, which was not given to her by her parents, which is not given to her by her husband. Sarthak, you're asking what is meant by frozen air? Frozen, okay, frozen air. For example, whenever the idea of freezing or the idea of something being frozen, the idea of something being frozen, it is an imagery when we use for what? Of something being stagnated. That is, you are saying that even the air has frozen for me. It has stopped for me. Everything has come to a standstill. Everything has become stagnant for me. Clear? What does Anshu blind eyes on windows is also referring to what when the grandmother used to sit on the window with her weak eyes and she used to look, outside and see if there is anyone who is going to accompany her or not. Okay, what else? Anyone else? Okay, so that brings us to the end of the poem. So if you have any problem, ask me. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Just go through the poem again. If there's any problem, you can post. All right. And I'm going to answer those questions. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Just ask me any relevant questions that you have regarding the poem. Okay? Take your time. Just come with the problems that you have with the poem so that we can deal with it. Okay, I'm looking at the questions. So wait, I'll club the questions that are the same and then answer it. Okay, let me just read the chats. Wait, I'll pick up some common questions and then answer. Okay. Okay. Okay, wait. Some people are asking me to go through the soul study material questions that we will do when we refer to the study material. Okay, don't worry about that. Pooja, you are saying the writer is expressing a regressing feeling. Okay. What is blank? Okay, this is done. Saroj, you're asking what is meant by the phrase is small change in the last line. The idea is that of how she's saying that when I go about, for example, when somebody begs onto you, what do they say? That give me something, if nothing, give me some change, give me some coins. So she's saying that even if you cannot full-fledgedly love me with full legitimate right, at least give me some kind of love. Priya, you're asking, Monica, you are saying frozen air again. So the idea of frozen air is that of how the writer is talking about stagnation, of sadness, of being in a state of mourning. All right, something which has stopped, lack of life, bereft of life. Priya, you are asking brooding dog, the idea of repentful, the idea of mulling and thinking about the past. Kushi, what kind of relationship she had with her husband. So Kamala Das always shared a problematic relationship with her husband. She has pointed it out in her life story, in her autobiographical sketches that she has drawn umpteen number of times, that she shared a loveless relationship with her husband. Yes, Pooja, you are saying the last stanza indicates that the writer is too alone in her life. Yes. I hope Saroj now the phrase is clear. At least in small change mean love not equal. Okay, Kushi, you're writing at least in small change mean love not equal as grandmother gave her, but in few small change because she never being able to be loved by her husband and parents. Yes. Monica, this is available on the Google. That is where I'm referring to. Okay, Khushi, you're saying, ma'am, snake moved among the books. What does it show? So it can be drawn from different images. For example, the books are representative of knowledge, of light. The snakes, in a traditional sense, are representative of something which is dreary and dangerous. So she's saying that, the books that she refused as a child, now that she wants to read the same, she cannot because they are all infested with these different kinds of snakes. All right? Clear? Okay? So they are representative of how the idea that she cannot reach out to the memories. That is, once things have been lost, they cannot be retained and back. The time lost cannot be undone, cannot be gained back. And also, it is also can be representative of how the world has been very difficult onto her, upon her, and with her, and she has realized that the sweetness and the innocence of her childhood is no more. The world is highly infested by manipulative and snake-like people. My blood turned like the moon, cold like the moon. That is, she experienced a kind of blood clotting as if her blood had stopped. The idea of frozen air, the blood being stopped. The idea that now finally she comes to the realization that there was this one person only in my life who loved me truly, and now if that person is also dead, how am I going to survive? Yes, Ayushi, we will do that later on. About the questions about the exam pattern, do not ask me right now, okay? I'll be briefing you about it towards the end of the sessions. Whenever we reach the end of the session, let's focus on the course now. Navodita, I hope that imagery is clear to you. Okay, Siddhi, I'll give you some introduction about Kamala Das that I talked to you about. That is, she from the very beginning was a very receptive child. All right, she observed everything around her very clearly and very vividly, and she reflected onto those principles in her writing, in everyday journal that she kept, and then she talked about the problematic of the relationship that her parents share. You also see that as a child she was very self-blaming. That is, she thought that her parents are fighting amongst themselves because she and her brother are not so good looking. They were black and brown in color, and she thought that we are the reason for their unhappiness. So as a child she used to blame onto herself. All right, and as a child, she and her brother used to be friends with the gardener, the cook, because these were the only people who were there at the home at the right amount for the right amount of time. Her father was a very busy businessman, and he was also an ardent revolutionary. So even though he was working for the society outside, there was no attention that he paid inside. All right, that is in his house. And her mother was so unhappy with her father that she could not and will never and would not also by choice pay any attention to the kids. She said that my mother always used to sit in a corner brooding and mulling over her circumstances, and she used to write all these works. Alright, so she was very receptive from the very beginning, and it is said that her relationship with her husband is also affected by the kind of relationship that she witnessed between her father and mother. Yes, Darshika, stranger doors, yes. Yes, Tushar, good, right. The idea of stagnation and other being moving. Yogita, are you able to understand now? Try to focus. Ma'am, or in the wild to brooding explain this. That is, in the wild, no, these are not the conglomeration that we are talking about. The idea that she's saying that I have gone into the wild fantasy of imagining what things I didn't do right, and that cannot be undone. Kushit means that if she cannot take up the light that her grandmother was, at least she can take some dark parts. Arm full of darkness, right? Are you able to understand? That is something that can fit in your arms. Cold like the moon, strangers symbolize what is the meaning of snake move the books. I think these have been repeated. Yes. I hope the meaning of last sentence is also clear to you. Okay, somebody has. Okay, Madhu, that's good to hear that you were able to understand everything. Okay, Darshika. Yes, Asha, that is the that her blood turned cold because her grandmother has turned cold. All right, because not cold in the sense of she's removed from her, but that now she's dead, she's also cold as a moon. All right, so she's saying that now she cannot feel the warmth of love, and therefore the coldness, the frozen air. Okay, many people have. So the idea of blind eyes. So do you understand the kind of do you understand the idea of what when you say blind eyes? So, the idea of when you say that she was sitting on the window looking out onto the scenery, or she was sitting on the window. Okay, so the idea is that of how she's saying the very idea of blind eyes on window. So whenever you talk about looking out of the window or looking at the scenery, the very essential sense that you need is that of seeing. So the very idea of blind eyes, that is, you're sitting on the window as if on the stance of looking outside, but there is nothing that you can see. So it is as equivalent to a blind eye on the window. That is, the eye which is essentially associated with eyesight, that is the ability to see, is devoid of that sight even. Everything is becoming very melancholic around her. Jyoti, I'll share the study material. Okay, once again, or once for all. Yes, so I hope that's clear to you. Also, I want all of you to read shadow lines, all right? Because when you do that, what will happen? When we start it, I'll quickly finish with the poetries. If you have some idea about the novel, at least you will be able to, you know, do what? Do understand. At least read the summary of the same. This is the version I have. I'm showing it again to you. This is the version that we have. I think now it's clear. It's from the Oxford version. You can go for the critical version also. At least read the introduction, read about the characters, so that when I talk about it, you're not clueless in the class. Okay? Okay. Is there any other trouble that you have? Anything that you want to ask? Is it clear? Okay, Khushi, thank you so much. I'm happy that you are able to understand. Okay, good. Okay, this is the book. Okay, this is the book. So do read it. So in the next one, I'll try to finish all the poetries that we are left with. And then we will start with the... Okay, I'm happy that you're able to understand, Sarthak. I'm happy that most of you... Okay, Khushi, that's good that you're able to understand. No, Kunika, it's not compulsory for you to buy the book. If you already have the soft copy for the same, you can just refer to that. All right? Just join the Telegram group. I'm again, just once again, I'll share the link. I'll be sharing all the information from here. Okay, Vidhi, that's great. So I'll see you all tomorrow. All of you have a good day. Just read, okay, what we have already done, just read it. It is very important for you to read on daily basis. That will help you to not pile up the syllabus, okay? Okay, so just take out 2 hours for your own self daily and today also, and try to study what we have already done. Okay, all of you, take care. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bring your problems and anything. All right, all of you, take care. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay?
ओके मैम, फिर मैं क्लास आपकी एंड कर देती हूँ. हेलो मैम, मैं आपकी क्लास को एंड कर देती हूँ.